Thank you all for sending questions for the Friday Q&A. Remember, guys, you can send in your questions via the description box down below with all the details on how you can send me questions. Anyways, let's get started with this one. Snowdrop asks, you think Scott Steiner could pull off making the same face as Angry Miz Girl? Nah, man. Scott Steiner is epic in his own way, man. You can't pull off something as epic as Angry Miz Girl. He doesn't need to try and do it. Superman asks, what if John Cena grew a mustache? Who cares? If John Cena had a mustache, he would probably look weird with it, but I don't think it would help his career whatsoever. The Chase Allen asks, and Chase Allen also does YouTube videos, so maybe you guys should check him out. Asks, who is your favorite wrestler of all time and your favorite WrestleMania of all time? My favorite wrestlers of all time are Chris Jericho and Triple H, and my favorite WrestleMania of all time is WrestleMania 21. Travis Nelson asks, do you wish there would be more TLC matches on Raw or pay-per-views besides the actual TLC PPV? I just kind of wish they got rid of the TLC altogether, like the TLC pay-per-view altogether. But really, to be honest, no, man. Because the TLC match, it's supposed to be a big ending feud match. Because, you know, ladder match specialists, they choose the TLC match because you can do more than just the ladder. You can grab the tables, you can grab the chairs, and you can use those weapons as well. You know, you would kind of dilute the TLC concept if, like, you say, oh, let's have a TLC match on Raw. Let's have a TLC match on this pay-per-view every single time. You know, I like TLC matches, don't get me wrong, but it would dilute the purpose of the TLC match, which is supposed to be a much more hardcore ladder match where a babyface ladder match specialist chooses that match against the heel, or the heel chooses that against the babyface. So you get what I'm saying. So probably not. Maybe just get rid of the TLC pay-per-view, and then every once in a while, if there's a feud that deserves a TLC match, give it a TLC match on a special event Raw or a filler pay-per-view that could possibly need it. That's just my opinion on it. Paul Marcalonis asks, would the WWE try to bring back the King of the Ring, back to crown a vacated IC champion, and give it to John Cena because he's never won either of them? The WWE's stupid, Paul, but they're not that stupid. They wouldn't do anything to that stupid of a degree. They are a stupid company sometimes, but nothing that stupid, man. I don't think they would bring back the King of the Ring to crown an IC champion to give it to John Cena. I mean, John Cena is already a WWE Hall of Famer. Does he really need the King of the Ring, the IC title, to solidify his Hall of Fame status? No, not really. So I don't think they would bring that whole concept back just to give it to John Cena. If anything, they would probably give it to someone who is more undeserving. They would go to that stupid route. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think they would bring back that whole concept just to give it to John Cena. Largest 85 asks, what did you think of Beer Money? Beer Money is one of my favorite TNA tag teams, that's for sure. One of my favorite tag teams in the last decade. I mean, after like the Dudleys, Edge, and Christian, the Hardys disappeared, you know, there hasn't been really many tag teams that I really gravitated towards. You know, it's always been Triple X and Beer Money for me were the two teams that I've always gravitated for, and I really liked. I mean, at first I didn't like the idea behind Beer Money because of, you know, Bobby Roode joining with James Storm. I was like, Bobby Roode should be going for the TNA World title. How come he's teaming up with James Storm? But I grew to love it over time. Red Wolf 316 asked, hey Chase, what did you think of Sean O'Haire and his Devil's Advocate vignette back in 2003? And what do you think his career would have been like if the WWE stuck with that gimmick? Really, to be honest, man, I wasn't a fan of Sean O'Haire. I'm going to be straight up honest here. I was never a big fan of Sean O'Haire. Didn't really like the Devil's Advocate gimmick. And mainly, I wasn't a fan of wrestling in 2003. I was really falling off on my professional wrestling back then. I was just like, nah, man, I'm just not interested in it. Like, if it wasn't for buying some TNA DVDs, like the Best of AJ Styles Volume 1 or the Best of the X Division, I probably would not be a wrestling fan today. Those DVDs got me back into wrestling because there was showing that there was more athletic talents out there in the near future in professional wrestling. So really, to be honest, man, I just didn't really care for the Sean O'Haire gimmick, in all honesty. And the Devil's Advocate gimmick, you know, it's hard for someone in the world of professional wrestling to play like that Devil's gimmick because we have two gimmicks in the world of wrestling in Kane and Undertaker who are the Devil's favorite children. How is this one man supposed to tell me he knows what the devil wants? Because really, to be honest, Kane and Undertaker, they're the Devil's two favorite children. I would believe what Kane and Undertaker are saying about the devil than Sean O'Haire. Would he have succeeded in the WWE? Maybe, possibly, but I probably would think that, you know, he would get, you know, more of a mid-card push, just an enhancement guy type of push, than actually be a big star. So yeah, man, just wasn't a big fan of Sean O'Haire and his gimmick and his character. That's just me. The Gochi Man asks, in your opinion, when did you think was the best time for John Cena to turn heel? You could have turned him heel with the Nexus. That's when I think you could have turned him heel, like have it where he was the mastermind behind the Nexus the whole time. He hated how NXT was working. He didn't think it was a great idea. He felt bad for the other talent, so he gathered them all up. He's the leader behind it, and he's behind, you know, Wade Barrett. He planned all of this, you know, kind of like the Aces and Eights thing. It'd kind of be forced, beating him as a heel. But really, to be honest, that's the only really time that I think you could present him as a heel, because John Cena's character, the thing is, there's never been that many opportunities where you could kind of tease a heel turn. I mean, you know, the Daniel Bryan opportunity is another one where, you know, Cena, instead of shaking hands with Bryan, he AA's Bryan, allowing Orton to cash him, and then him, Orton, Triple H, and John Cena to stand tall in the middle of the ring at the end of SummerSlam 2013. I mean, that's another thing that you could have done, but, you know, it's all imagination at that point. It's really hard to figure out a time when you could have turned John Cena heel. Joe Juicy asks, what are your thoughts on Sean O'Hare's death? Sad and tragic. I mean, really, to be honest, I hate when some people can't overcome their demons. I hate that phrase, that like they couldn't overcome their demons. But if that was the only way that he could overcome his demons, and the only way he could, you know, find peace with himself, then then so be it, you know. May he rest in peace, Sean O'Hare. Mr. Juicy asks, do you find it sad four former WWE wrestlers this year have passed away? You know, for me, Mr. Juicy, it always goes like this when it comes to any death. You know, I mourn a little bit, but then I always realize, would that person want me to cry during their death the whole time? Or wouldn't that person, if they're looking above, want me to say, you know, like, want me to cry the whole time? No, I think that person would rather have me be happy and enjoy the life that they lived. So that's how I view death. You know, I view death totally differently than everyone else. You know, like people say I'm weird like that, but that's just how I am, because I always remember when one of my friends, Griffin, I played football with him and stuff, and I made a video about it. When he passed away, I was really, really sad. But I always remembered, I don't know why, there was a voice in my head. It was Griffin's voice, and Griffin told me, Chase, stop being a bitch and crying about me. Remember that one time? And I remember I heard that. I was like, is he still alive? And I said, yeah, why am I crying? Griffin wouldn't want me to cry. He would want me to enjoy the times that I spent with him. And I don't think these wrestlers, they would want us to cry way too much about them. I think they would rather have us enjoy the time that they were living. You know, go back. You know, that's what's great about the WWE Network. We can go back and watch some of these wrestlers' best works that they were trying to do to entertain us. So really, to be honest, when it comes to death for me, man, I don't always look at it as a sad and tragic thing. I always try to think of, like, you know, the wrestlers, like, wouldn't they want us to be more happy and entertained of what they did as a living? That's just me. That's just how I view it. But everyone's different. Jake Loomis asks, in your opinion, what are some of the most overplayed songs on the radio and movies that you are just sick and tired of listening to? Turn Down for What by Little John is a big one right now. You know, if you haven't heard it, you should go check it out. TikTok by Kesha, when that first came out, it was on every TV show, commercial, every movie was using TikTok. Everything was using fucking TikTok, man. Like, I remember one time, TikTok, I was like in my car, I pressed one of my radio stations, TikTok was playing. I'm like, nope. Pressed another radio station, TikTok was on. Pressed another radio station, TikTok was on. I was like, oh my god, damn. How many times do I have to hear this damn song? TikTok on the clock, but the party won't stop now. Oh, oh, oh. Like, that's how much I fucking heard that song. Like, I remember some of the little lyrics in that. So, yeah, man, TikTok for me, man, it's just the most overplayed song, in my opinion. And Turn Down for What is currently the big one. It's Turn Down for What, and there's another one. I just can't think of the name of it that recently was just way overplayed. Greg Toomer asked, what is your favorite Breakfast Club moment? There's a lot of them. There's two that I'll give you. One was Royal Rumble 2008 when Triple H hits the pedigree on Umaga, and it's revealed that John Cena's number 30. And you have John Cena coming out, you know, he has his arms crossed and stuff. And then he looks down and he raises up and he's like, yeah, he's smiling. He's all happy that he's back. And then Triple H is like, what are you doing back, John? And it was like everyone's laid out in the ring, right? But the camera is just focusing on John Cena and Triple H. So it's just pretty much like, yeah, all you other jobbers, these two are greatness here in WWE right now. These two are the men in the WWE. All you guys are little boys. Let's just glamour the moment of John Cena and Triple H staring each other down. It was just like they were just looking at each other for a good like minute, where Cena's like pointing at his shirt like, yeah, man, I'm back. Look at my elbow, my arm. I ain't done. And then later on, Triple H is like, let's go, John. Let's go. And there's still a bunch of people in the ring, and these two are staring at each other. Or WrestleMania 24 Triple Threat video package. That sums up Breakfast Club politics in a fucking nutshell, man. That fucking epic video package should make this match feel so fucking epic. Randy Orton's like, when you mix Triple H and John Cena, you get Randy Orton. Oh my god. So stupid. But those are my two favorite Breakfast Club moments. The fake Good Mike Work asks, if you were a part of the Breakfast Club, who are some wrestlers you would want to bury? And it could be wrestlers past or present that you really think is undeserving of a push. If I was part of the Breakfast Club, let's say, if I was first initially a member of the Breakfast Club, I know I would be a SmackDown superstar. I would be the SmackDown Breakfast Clubber, and I'd be Batista's little bitch until he left. So which means the one guy I would want to bury is Edge. Because one, me and Edge are going to be both on SmackDown. I don't want Edge stealing my thunder. It'd be Edge and Rey Mysterio. Those would be the two main people of the Breakfast Club, if I was a part of it, that I would make sure I feud with a lot, but I bury a lot too. So that way I can be the guy on top of SmackDown. That's the bottom line. So those two would be the number 1 and 2 on my list. Just because I don't want them to take my fucking spot. In today's professional wrestling, really, to be honest, it's hard, because I think us as Breakfast Club members, we would be wanting to bury the same individual in Roman Reigns. But really, to be honest, if I was a part of it still, I'd probably be the mid-card Breakfast Club member at that point. So The Miz and Dolph Ziggler would be on my checklist. And it's not because I hate these guys or anything. Well, you guys know I don't like Edge. And Rey Mysterio is one of my favorites. But, you know, I'm just trying to keep my position on top. You know what I'm saying? So I would probably be burying Miz and Ziggler because I would want to be the mid-card IC champion. You know, my homie Sheamus, he's the mid-card US champion. I got to keep that IC strap really nice and warm for the Breakfast Club. So I got to bury Miz and Ziggler. That's just the bottom line. So those would be the people I would bury. And also my personal little bitch of the Breakfast Club, it would be fucking Eric Rowan. You would know, like, Chase Oliver's in a pissed off mood if you saw Eric Rowan in the ring by himself and I was beating him up during the whole time. So I just hate Eric Rowan. That would be the one guy I would love to bury. John Cool asks, what do you think of JBL set and Michael Cole's commentary on SmackDown from 2006 to 2007? Bad. You know, I didn't like JBL as a commentator. He wasn't that good of a heel commentator. That's just me. I never really liked him. He was funny sometimes, but other than that, didn't really like him all that much. And Michael Cole, I felt once he separated himself from Taz, that's when we started to see how bad Michael Cole was. Josh Chambers asked, what did you think of Sin Cara's botch at Survivor Series 2011 when he did a dive over the top rope and broke his leg? He broke his patella, buddy. It's funny because it's like, that sums up how much of a failure Sin Cara was for the WWE. The original Sin Cara, at least. I mean, Sin Cara 2.0, he's doing a good job. But the original Sin Cara, that shows how much of a failure he was. I mean, once he botched his entrance on Monday Night Raw, the debut of it, you should have known, this is not going to end well. And then after Money in the Bank and failing the drug test and then tearing his patella, it was just like, that has to be one of the biggest flops in WWE history. He's one of the biggest fucking failures in WWE history. And that just summed it up right there. I mean, here he is coming back. He actually has a good feud with Sin Cara Negra, a.k.a. Hunico, a.k.a. Sin Cara 2.0. They're actually doing some good business. The Hunico character is actually getting some good heel heat for you. It seemed like they wanted to do something with Hunico. And all of a sudden, you tear your patella tendon when just jumping. Oh, God, it's sad, though. That just shows how much of a failure fucking Sin Cara was, man. Slapnuts 2000 asks, what do you think of Ravens Crucify Sandman back in ECW 1996? I fit the storyline. You know, some people are going to be like, it was so edgy and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I always tell people who get offended what they see on professional wrestling, you know, it's a TV show. Shit, people. Like, these people may be real life, but it's also a TV show at the end of the day. So, like, you're allowed to, you know, break some certain boundaries that aren't realistically possible. You know, like in Breaking Bad, do people think Walter White's such a bad person because he's cooking fucking meth and they don't want to watch that show anymore? Yeah, sure, there's probably the minority of people who think that, but the majority enjoy it. You think on The Walking Dead, there's some people that are like, oh, I don't want my kids watching zombies, or I don't believe in zombies, so I'm not going to watch it? Yeah, sure, the minority may believe it, but the majority likes it. That's what I'm saying. You know, it was good, edgy TV. It's like, that's what wrestling is. It's a TV show first and foremost. So, like, if people were offended by it, it's like, calm down. Just understand that, yes, these may be real people that walk the streets, But Bryan Cranston is still Walter White. You know, Walter White is played by Bryan Cranston. I don't see, like, you know, people going to Bryan Cranston and being offended that he cooked meth on TV. You know what I'm saying? That he cooked fake meth on TV. You know, like I said, it's a storyline. It's television at the end of the day, so they're allowed to be edgy and stuff like that. I thought it was a wonderful angle, especially if you knew the Sandman and Raven feud at the time in ECW. So yeah, I thought it was wonderful, man. Like, that Raven Sandman feud, very underrated. Jay Walker asks, which commentary team do you think is worse, WWE's commentary or TNA's? Oh God, I'll say TNA's, and it's a cop-out answer because at least WWE has different commentary teams. I know that's a cop-out answer, man, but really, to be honest, TNA's is just bad. You know, Mike Tenay botches moves so much, man. It doesn't seem like he knows what type of moves are hitting anymore. And not only that, dude, he just sounds so bored sometimes commentating. I mean, Taz has gotten a little bit better. At first, Taz was really, really bad, but he's gotten a little bit better. But shit, Mike Tenay still sucks. Mark Grochi asks, what would your reaction be if WWE had Adam Rose suck on a dildo? That would be my reaction. I would just be like, what the fuck am I watching? Reed19 asks, what if Scott Steiner got his own reality TV show called Steiner Knows Best, starring himself, Petey Williams, and some fat asses? I would hope that there would be a scene in the show where Scott Steiner says, I'm hungry, and him and Petey Williams drive somewhere. That story is my favorite Scott Steiner story by Petey Williams, where Petey Williams is talking about the car ride from hell from Scott Steiner. Go look it up. Google search Petey Williams Scott Steiner. It will be like an Art of Wrestling clip. That is the best Scott Steiner story. It will have you laughing your ass off just because you can picture Scott Steiner doing it, man. Like, fucking love it. Final Limits asks, what would Batista and Orton's career be like if there was an evolution with HHH and Ric Flair? Would they have succeeded on their own? Oh, or I guess you're asking if there was no evolution with Ric Flair and Triple H. Batista, I don't think so, man. I think Batista would have been cut. You know, he was injured most of the time before he hit Evolution. You know, Triple H really fought hard to keep Batista in the WWE. You know, Batista has talked about it in the Talk Is Jericho in recent interviews that, like, you know, Hunter was the one that really pushed for him to be a part of that group because he was going to be the muscle. So really, to be honest, I think Batista's career would have gone down. But Randy Orton, I think it would have been fine. You know, Randy Orton just had, you know, really good in-ring skills to help carry him. I mean, Batista, he was trash in the beginning of his career. Orton, you could just tell this dude was a natural and that this guy had something. You know, I don't think he would have gotten pushed as fast, that's for sure. We wouldn't be calling Randy Orton the youngest world heavyweight champion ever. I think we would just be calling Randy Orton a really successful main eventer for the WWE, though. Like, he would still be in the same position, but not as forced. If you get what I'm saying, like, he would at least be, you know, a multiple-time world champion 4 or 5 times at least. So, yeah, he would still have a good career, but I don't think Batista would have been successful. Like, Orton's first title would have came when he was 27 instead of 24. Lorna Low asks, do you ever buy games from the PlayStation Network? And if so, which games have you bought? Yeah, I bought the Spiral of the Dragon games. Both Ripto's Rage and Year of the Dragon. So, yeah, those are the 2 games that I bought. PlayStation Network's good with the games. And when, they had that whole hacking thing in the PS Plus. They gave you, like, free PS Plus. I used my PS Plus token to get Infamous on there. So, yeah, I've done that before. It takes a while to download. Dave Lester asks, what if in a match, Gail Kim beats Jessica Havoc cleanly with her finisher? Fuck you, TNA. It would just be stupid. It just shows that you guys can't build new talent. And this is why your company will never succeed. That's all I got to say about that. Brody Lodi asks, what if the man in the bunny suit was revealed to be Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner? I hope y'all would tweet me first or message me first saying, Chase, it's Scott Steiner. You all would freak out and you would associate Scott Steiner with me. I think it's been clearly obvious that with the amount of Scott Steiner questions asked on my Q&As for the past, like, 5 editions, that you all should be thinking, like, anytime you think of Scott Steiner, Chase Oliver pops into your damn minds. And I hope y'all would tweet me, Facebook message me, inbox me on YouTube saying, Chase, Scott Steiner is the fucking bunny. That would be the greatest fucking thing. And it shows that Big Papa Pump still has it. Did you see that super kick? Did you see that diving crossbody? Fuck yeah. If Big Papa Pump's a fucking bunny, I'd love it, man. Could you imagine him partying with the Rosebuds? I'm an exotic express having these 3 bitches suck my dick. Fucking awesome. Randy Bassetti asks, what if Rollins had been impaled? Would it have been Owen Hart tragedy all over again? And what would that bitch Nancy Grayson media have to say about it? Yeah, it'd be Owen Hart tragedy. Raw would end immediately. Twitter would be a buzz for all the wrong reasons. Nancy Grace wouldn't be able to talk about it because she doesn't know fucking shit all about wrestling. But I'm pretty sure a lot of the media, they would say, you know, like, what caused the tragedy. They would try to look in what was the cause of the tragedy. You know, what happened, what was the miscue. You know, they would pay respects to Seth Rollins. They would say, hey, rest in peace to Seth Rollins. You know, but they wouldn't really be harsh on the WWE whatsoever. You know, the WWE would open up a statement probably a day after, you know, talking about the situation. Even though they would try to avoid it, they would open up with the statement the day after and, you know, talk about the situation and talk about, you know, how tragic it was and put the blame on themselves at least. That's what I would think. I would hope so. So that's what I would do as a PR company. Like, make sure to understand, like, look, we fucked up big time and it's our fault. And we have no one to blame but ourselves. We should have planned this segment more accordingly, but we didn't. So, yeah, you know, they would have easily put the blame on themselves. The media, they would send condolences to Seth Rollins, family and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't think they would bash it as much as you would think, man. They like to bash the steroids. Like, that's when the media really goes hard into wrestling, is when they bash the steroid system. Like, you know, they always love talking about those steroids. Little Fish asks, thoughts on Matt Hardy? I like Matt Hardy. Not my favorite Hardy boy, but I like him. He's a cool guy. I don't really have that much thoughts on him. I never really thought he was that entertaining, nor should he be a main eventer. You know, I liked him as a cruiserweight guy where he was trying to lose the fucking weight to make the cruiserweight division. I thought that shit was funny. But other than that, like, I never really was a huge fan of him. Always was a huge Jeff Hardy fan, but never a huge Matt Hardy fan. Nintendo Fanboy 1998 asks, what do you think of Sean O'Hare's death being a suicide? Like I said, man, earlier with the Sean O'Hare question, man, if that was the only way for him to escape his demons, may he rest in peace, dude. You know, any way to win your war with your demons, dude. If this is the only way that he could find peace within himself, you know, so be it. I know there's so many people out there against, you know, like a suicide and stuff like that. But for me personally, it's like, you know, like I said, I view death and my beliefs are different than everyone else's. I'm not going to have the same beliefs as anyone else. And don't expect me to be politically correct a lot of times here on this channel. But, you know, he was going through a rough fucking time. He went through the WWE rehab 6 times. He tried to fight his demons. He tried his fucking hardest. And at least he fucking tried instead of took the coward ways out first. You know what I'm saying? He fought 6 different times in rehab, man, to fight over that alcohol abuse. He tried his damn hardest, man, and he just couldn't win the battle. He just couldn't, man, and it's sad to say that. He just couldn't do it. So he had to find peace another way. I ain't mad at what Sean O'Hare did, man. You know, he fought at least he fucking fought. You know, some people are going to say I'm insensitive and stuff like that, but shit, that's just my opinion on it, dude. And if that's the only way he could have fucking ended his demons, man, so be it. It sucks. It's terrible. It's sad. But if that was the only way he could find peace, that was the only way he could find peace, man. So may he rest in peace. Jack Trice is finishing off this Q&A asking, have you ever played the Bully on PS2 and Rockstar? From Rockstar. Yeah, I did a review of Bully on my old channel, CO Live Videos. I liked it. Really good game. Anyways, guys, thanks for sending in your questions. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts on any of the questions in the comment section down below. Don't forget to send in questions for the Tuesday Q&A. If you guys like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68. Check out my website, chillingwithchase.com. I am out of here, and I hope you enjoy your day. Peace.